Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show, bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio, here's Nick and Matt.
Every time that intro gets me when Nick's not here, because it's not Nick and Matt. Tonight, it's Evan and Matt and Ben, and we're going to introduce in just a minute Simon and his dad. Really excited about that. Evan, how's it going? Nick is on the road traveling yet again, coming out of Belton. How's it going, Evan?
It is going good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Ben, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on the show.
Your camera and green screen are all messed up. Beautiful. So I said Nick's not here. The Open at Belton, I always mess that tournament name up. The Open at Belton just completed. This is Monday, the time of recording, and there was some pretty cool stuff that happened. We're going to talk about Silver Series in general. I don't want to overplay Silver Series, but we're going to talk about what they should receive for Spotlight in our opinions, right? And we'll just say it. Chris Dickerson took it down. So did Katrina Allen. But there's storylines outside of that we'll break down. Statmando. Evan here is going to...
You know it.
He's going to bring it for us. We'll play Stat or Fiction. And what did you learn from last week?
I'm going to keep it simple this week. A smart man once said, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Who's the stupid one?
That's Dwight Schrute, by the way. So
yeah. Perfect. Right. We definitely should watch The Office before these recordings. That'd be much better.
Yes.
All right. Well, without further ado, Ben, let's go ahead and pull up Simon and Mr. Dave Lizotte in studio. How's it going, guys, over there? You got the microphone? And Simon just holds up a mini for no reason. How's it going, Dave?
Fantastic. I'm so honored and grateful to be here. Thanks.
So, I mean, you're sitting next to your son. You just traveled from where? Like, not Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. We know that's where Simon's from. Where did you travel from to get to the U.S.?
We traveled from Bremen, Germany on Friday and got here Friday evening.
Okay.
Simon picked us up at the airport, which was nice. And, we've been here for 2-3 days now.
What's it like getting picked up by a superstar disc golfer at the airport? You just
No, that's actually a very interesting, much more interesting question than you would think it would be, because on the one side, it's my son,
right?
And it's like, come on. But on the other side, I do realize and know that he has made a big imprint on the sport and is very recognizable and everything. So there's a tinge of that as well, and it's cool, but it's also just Simon,
that's I think I can imagine if it was I have 4 boys, but it had to be asked because it's pretty.
Oh, certainly, because in the world that I am most in the world of disc golf, with which I relate to the most, he's famous now. So, my son or not my son, he's still a famous personality in the sport that I follow the most and have been playing for ages and ages. So, it's there's still a little bit of. I don't know if it's nervousness, not really, but it's cool. It's cool for sure. I'm very proud of how far he's gotten here.
Simon, your dad says you're famous. Is he accurate?
In the disc golf world, I think at this point it qualifies as being famous. I mean, we both played Maple Hill on a beautiful Sunday yesterday, and pretty much every single person that is out at Maple Hill will say hi to me, which is awesome. And I'm a celebrity on a disc golf course, which is maybe the best celebrity you can be, because anywhere else in normal life I can go, and the times I get recognized in public, sometimes it happens at the airport and randomly at the grocery shopping or wherever it could be. It's really cool because it happens so rarely that it's really cool. But one of my biggest fears is always being too famous, and what those celebrities have to live through is probably miserable, because not going in public sounds like it's a terrible life. But we're not even close to there, so it's awesome.
Would you say, Dave, that you would have echoed similar sentiments to what he's saying, or did he develop this on his own? The idea of not wanting to be too famous. Is that something you would echo yourself? In life?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Oh, what a hassle it would be. What a hassle it would be to be recognized everywhere. Um, it's really nice. I think, yes. Echo.
I'm just trying to peel a little bit here to see, like, where does Simon get the way he is? Like, we know him, Simon Lizotte.
Yeah.
He's now local to us here in Massachusetts, and so we feel like we get to know him more. But now that his dad's here, Simon, your dad's here, we're going to ask the question. So let's just start with an easy one. What's it like seeing Simon, his fiancee Natalia, and the new grandson Emmett living in their own house? Did you ever think this day would arrive?
No, it's actually, to be honest, it's really mind-boggling. Just to see the amount of solidity, I guess you could call it, in his life. A nice car, house, wife, although not married yet, but technically yes. Child now, really nice house, and pool table in the living room, dude. Pool table in the living room. That just that about trumps everything. I grew up also playing a lot of pool and everything. We've played a lot of pool together, and at first the idea of we're looking for a house that fits a pool table, I thought it was a little bit okay. Well, we'll see what Natalia has to say about that. But she was all for it as well, and then he did it, and he has a house with a pool table in it. So I don't know. That sort of stands out a little bit, So I'm very proud of how much solidness and I can't come up with the right word now because I've got German words scrambling around.
Say
in my brain.
the German words.
I can't think of it either because it's mixed in with the French and English words that I'm trying to come up with that I have neither of. So
you know three languages fluently?
More or less,
Okay.
yeah. I was brought up French and English, mostly English, but we had to learn French because we were in a French village, so I knew French. And when I moved over to Germany, I've been there for 30 years now, so I know German, of course, as well. So 3 languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides pool
Yes.
and disc golf, is there any other shared interests that you have that Simon and you would share interests saying, yeah, we're similar in that way?
A little bit music, although me not so much anymore. Guitar playing, I used to play a lot more, and we shared that for a while a little bit. And PlayStation golf. It's not a joke. It's like it's real. It's real.
Oh, that's
PlayStation
awesome.
golf since 2003 when the first game.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
the first game came out in 2001 or something. This Tiger Woods EA Sports from. And we've been playing that since ever. So,
Wow.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
that was a cool little insight there.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time a little bit if you're ready for that. And Simon, do you agree? Or let me let you answer that. Is there anything that you share that he missed? Music, pool, disc golf,
That's all the things I do. I don't do more things than those things.
darts.
Well, yeah, but he was never into darts. That's
Okay.
something I picked up with my cousins later on.
Do you change diapers now, Simon?
Oh yeah, I love changing diapers and just seeing the mess and being like, yeah, he's healthy.
Yeah. Oh, Dad, you must be so proud over there.
I certainly am.
All right, let's go back in time a little bit. At what point back when you introduced, tell me that story. You introduced Simon to disc golf, or did he find it from somebody else? Number one. And number two, did the thought ever enter your mind that he might be able to make a living off of disc golf one day after you saw what Simon was capable of?
I can't really come up with a point in time where I introduced him to it.
Okay.
I was introduced to the sport in somewhere in the 80s, early 80s, with my brother in Vancouver. We had a course out there. And so I've just been always playing Frisbee my entire life. And I was introduced to disc golf more intensely with my brother in Vancouver. And so I've just been playing it all the time. And we always had Frisbees around and would be playing in the backyard. So it was never really a point of introduction. And of the 3 kids that I have, 3 boys, Simon was the most keen to come out and just play with us. And eventually it was, I don't know if I really came up with the thought that, oh boy, he's going to make a living with it, just because that was not at all a possibility in Germany, like at all. You know, you enter tournaments for $20 or $30, and if you win, you get $75, like at the most, if it's a big payout. And but certainly by the time he was 11 or 12, where he'd been playing several years with us, just the boys around town and stuff, playing on ching baskets and stuff like that, it became evident pretty quickly that, oh boy, he's going to be good. Like, he's going to be really good. Within a very short time, he was outplaying all of us, and also most of the players on the German tour, most of the men as well. He spent some time in the juniors division and was basically winning most of that, and then he switched to the open division when he was 15. Played against the men and started whipping their butts pretty quickly.
Does it feel you're watching Gannon Burr if you're watching the pro tour scene at all?
I have seen
similar
Gannon Burr.
vibes and like 16-year-old on the pro tour?
Similar vibes? Which way do you mean that?
Like Simon, is there any comparability there to, you said 15 years old entering pro open and beating older men? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Matt, it's impossible to compare 2004, 2005 disc golf in Germany to the Pro Tour in 2022. It's just so different worlds, and yeah, you can't really put us in the same category there. But
Okay.
what Gannon is doing right now is obviously next level stuff.
Yeah, good for him. So yeah, it was before the time of disc golf. I mean, realistically, you go back 4 years, and it was before the time of disc golf being a real living option. So, I mean, I know when I asked that question, it wasn't going to be, but I was just curious. Have you ever had that moment where you're like, man, he's really good. If disc golf turns into something, he can do it. Did you ever have that thought?
Absolutely. And the one I can remember the most is when Simon went up to Finland for, what was that, the European Championships 2010, was it? And the top players were Ken Climo, Avery Jenkins, David Feldberg, and a couple of the European players. Marcus Karlstrom, I believe, might have been there. And Simon, after 1 or 2 rounds, I was still at home, and Simon went up there with a friend who took him along, and after 2 rounds, Simon's like in 2nd or 3rd place or 4th place or something. And they all phoned me up and said, hey, Dave, you got to get up here. So I got on the plane, went up there, and was able to watch the last round. Mind-blowing. And also we were walking around town with Feldberg and Climo and everything, and they were saying lots of things and being very much in awe of Simon and going, oh, look how far you're throwing a mid-range disc. That's nuts. And so, yeah, at that point, I was thinking, yeah, if Simon can make it over to the States, then there's potential for good things to happen. Yeah. So we were always, I personally was always totally behind his need to go out and play. And we took him out of school a lot and had to write a lot of letters to the schools to say, oh, yeah, he's going to miss Friday and he's going to miss Monday. And we got a couple of letters also from the school going, oh, you can't take him out so much. And I was like, yes, we can. So, and we did. And I've always wanted to get a collection of things that Simon has accumulated over the last 5-6 years and go to the school and go, see,
Yeah,
it happened.
excellent.
So yeah, that's kind of cool.
That is excellent. Simon, when was the last time your dad beat you in disc golf? How
Yesterday.
far? Really?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you let him win ever,
wow.
or are you just like competitive, or you're not competitive, you just have fun? Like,
I don't remember last time we played a competitive round. in the same tournament, or if it was maybe probably would have been like a local league on a home course. And you probably definitely have never beaten me on our home course. Gosh, it must be 2007, I would guess. Maybe 2006 or 2007. So like 15, 16 years ago when I was 14.
Also still probably playing in juniors, right? I remember looking back at some of the scores where I came maybe even first or second in the Masters division, and I compared scores to what Simon had, and he was 5 or 6 strokes behind me, but playing in juniors. And I think that was about the last time. And then pretty soon afterwards, it was just like, okay.
But he's really good. In like 2005 or something, you won Canadian Masters?
Yep.
Or 2006?
Canadian Masters.
He won the Canadian Masters Championship. So that's at least one title you have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's do this. Ben, open up the phone lines if you don't mind. And Evan, do you have any? I know you had asked me a few questions about PDGA numbers and all that. Do you have any stats to tell us here, or is that something we didn't do?
Well, I just looked up real quick. The last time you guys played a round together, not counting same division or anything like that, was 2013. I'm gonna butcher this name so bad, but the Wesseruffer Park.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
That was the last time, October of 2013. Simon beat Dave by 7 strokes in the second round and 6 strokes in the first round. I'm about to look up the last time that Dave beat Simon in a round, PDGA sanction, that is.
Okay.
Okay.
That could be a while ago.
I wonder if you can find that. That'd be sick.
Okay. While he looks for that, answer this if you don't mind, Dave. Has Simon always been such a showman on the course? Simon, in many interviews and even on the course, has made decisions to do what we'll call the show route, right? The Simon route. Has that always been Simon's way?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think he also, I don't want to really say he gets that from me, but I myself have never been extremely competitive, and I've never really worried or been concerned about the proper way to play the hole, or the make sure you get the birdie and do it this way and do it that way. And it's more like, no, do the throw that impresses your group the most, because that's I think we share the same idea about that the one really amazingly cool throw in the tournament sometimes overdoes, for lack of a better word, the actual tournament and placements. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You sound like Simon.
You just gotta find the line, whatever you're doing, that you keep having fun and you keep being interested in what you're doing. And for some people, it is being as good as you can possibly be and finding this like almost the perfection. Like Paul Macbeth, he wants disc golf played perfectly. That's what he strives for. And for some reason, it never really interested me. I mean, I like getting better. I like playing well, of course. But for me, it was, how can I play the most different? Like, that was for me the most fun thing, is to see a hole and like, how can I make this hole the most different to anyone else and play it the most different way? And I see that when I play pool, for example, as well. I mean, I'm a good pool player, but I would be way better at pool if I would practice to be good at pool. But when I play pool, I look at some shots and I don't think, okay, what's the simplest way I can get to the next ball? I think, what's the coolest, most different way I can set this next shot up? And I think that kind of relates to a lot of things I do in life. And it's just a personality thing, I guess. And I think it's always been like that for me.
Yeah, I think I'm stuttering. I admire you for doing what you like to do and not having pressures of whatever the sport. Was there a time where the sport was pressuring you though to not do that? I feel like I remember it, but
yeah, I mean, all the time. The big move to the US in 2014, Discmania just started up working here as well. And it was huge. Trying to start up a company in the huge market the US was pretty scary. And I was pretty much, before Eagle came on board a year later, like the only guy wearing the Discmania shield out on the course. And UC, of course, wanted me to be the superstar disc golfer. And sometimes I felt like they were trying to squeeze me in this in the super athlete model, and I just could never really identify with that for some reason. I don't know why. It was weird.
Hey, that's, again, we admire that. We got a phone call coming in, so let's go ahead
It's
and
for you.
it's for you. We can hear the ringing, the guest can't, but we have somebody on the line now. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You have a question for Simon or Dave?
Yes, probably just one, but ich verstehe ein bisschen Deutsch. My wife is from Germany. I don't speak German whatsoever. But the Seiben Sucha Ruffelheim, I was involved with their club for a little bit, and I was just calling pretty much to ask about the future of German disc golf, because when I went there, I played a course at the College of Cologne, one in Ruffelheim, and
Do you know who Chris
not a lot of
Longmire
courses
is?
in Germany. Chris Longmire, no.
Oh, I thought he was a Rüsselsheim local, and I know he's also he's an American that lives in Rüsselsheim with the club around there. So I thought you might know him.
No, I've only met a couple people in Europe. I went to Amsterdam and played. I played outside in Paris. I was really excited to play with someone. Outside of London. I was really excited to play around with someone from London, and the guy ended up being from Birmingham, Georgia. But yeah, I was just asking about the future of German disc golf, and that's all I had.
Thanks for your call.
I'm going to hold back a little bit on that question because I really don't see a huge development apart from the number of players and maybe some courses, but I still don't see a huge development in the growth of professional disc golf in Germany. I just don't see it happening. There's a lot more players, but I mean, with professionalism and professional playing comes big payouts and big entry fees and all that kind of stuff. And I think Germany's still quite far away from that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I kind of like detached myself from the whole disc golf German scene 9 years ago now, when I first started touring here. So I can't really speak to that much. I've been following, of course, a bit, and I talk still to my local friends. And it hasn't moved much, at least when it comes to anything professional. But they're gaining a couple courses every year, and I know that the sport is getting more and more popular. Germany just has a huge problem with places to play because it's such a small country with so many people. But yeah, one of my goals maybe in the future, I really want to team up with the Paul Macbeth Foundation and maybe put in a new cool course in Germany. I think that would get some hype going. And maybe like 5 to 10 years from now, when I maybe slow down on the pro tour, but focus on growing the sport in my home country, that would be cool.
Awesome. We have another caller lined up. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You have a question?
Hey guys, Simon, you are my favorite player, so it's an honor to speak to you. And I was
Thank you.
wondering, what is more important to you? Would you rather be a top 10 golfer or have 200,000 YouTube followers?
Thanks for the call.
Wow, the would you rather questions. I mean, I have to go with logic here, so I would probably rather be a top 10 golfer because then it would be pretty easy to acquire 200,000 subscribers. But with 200,000 subscribers, still being a top 10 golfer is going to be pretty much impossible, no matter how many subscribers you have. So I'm going to go with the top 10. I'm still striving to be a top 10 disc golfer, which I think I can be, and I will be again pretty soon, hopefully. But man, the field is hard to beat right now. Oh my God, it's crazy out there. And I'm working on the 200,000 subscribers too. I'm at 150 now. So like and subscribe.
There you go. I liked your recent vlog where your dad joined you at Maple Hill, and towards the end, or it was one of your recent vlogs, he's like and subscribe.
Yeah, that was the last one. That was,
got
I
it
figured
in
I'd
there.
throw that in for a...
Do you watch a lot of the vlogs Simon puts up, or is it kind of like,
Simon's vlogs.
yeah,
Everyone.
okay,
Yeah, for sure.
there you go.
Do you like and subscribe?
I have.
Every time.
I liked everything, and I've subscribed since the first video you brought out. So yeah.
Wow, awesome. All right, we'll probably take one more call if. Oh, there it is. Well, let me get that call in here. Ooh, we both grabbed for it. It's funny. All right, welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You have a question for us?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Mikey. I'm from California. Big fan of you guys, and my hope to hear is what Simon's father has taught Simon that he would love to teach his son. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the call. So the way I interpret that is you taught Simon something, and what is that thing that Simon wants to teach his son? So what did you get from your dad, Simon, that you would like to teach your son?
I thought it was a question for him.
He did. I feel like that's the way. You guys answer it how you want. Answer it how you want. Take the microphone.
I'll go first on that, and I don't feel as if I've directly taught him this, but just a matter of how you are and who you are and what you do, and sort of this just chill out and have fun attitude, and don't worry about winning or not, and it's, just have fun on the course, do the best you can, be nice, be polite, be respectful of everybody and everything, and the winning and all that kind of stuff follows that. So chill out, have fun is hopefully what he'll his house, no? It's all what a child paradise that will be. I'm really happy for his child. So I'll let Simon take over.
Yeah, I would have gone pretty much along the same lines there for my answer. Kind of just like, not really a whatever attitude, but we were talking about something today about this with I was with my mom, I think, about this. We talked about some time traveling movie where you have to. The message was like you got to live each day twice. Once like feeling all the emotions and being involved, and then the second time like leaning back a bit and just being a bit relaxed and kind of just like smiling and everything and being like, oh, whatever, what happened, whatever happens. And that attitude, I think, was kind of what we grew up with. We had a very, very easy childhood. We could pretty much do whatever we want, had all the freedoms.
I like to call it a long leash.
Okay.
Very long leash, and kind of with this, whatever, just don't die.
I like don't die. That's excellent. If we get another call, we'll take it, but we're probably going to wrap it up, Ben, if you want to shut down the call here. Do you have any favorite disc golf memories, Dave? It can be specifically for yourself, but it might be a shared one with Simon. Disc golf memory, something that stands out to you. Maybe it was a big win Simon had. Maybe it's a trip you took. Like whatever it is there a special shared memory or memory that you have?
Apart from all the tournaments that we drove to together, and just the general camaraderie that I was lucky enough to be able to have with one of my sons, which is not that common, actually. You think, fathers and sons is always so this thing, but to actually have this connection that we had for such a long time, just that general everything. But the one memory was when he went up to Finland and got and was in the finals with Climo and Feldberg and stuff like that. That's gonna stick with me forever. And his first win in the United States also, when he actually came over here with Avery, and I was like, yes, and then he actually made his first win. I don't know if that was Glassblown Open or Texas. Glassblown Open, and it was just like all the pressure fell off, and it's like, yes, he can do it. He can do it. And Conepista, of course. I forgot the amazing thing at Conepista, where we were down 2 strokes after 16 holes, and just thinking, it's all over, and then he wins the tournament. That was like, I completely forgot about that. That is obviously the most mind-blowing thing I've ever experienced with him in disc golfing, actually. Yeah. So that was an amazing Conepista, what, 2016? Something like that? 17?
You also caddied for me in my best World Championships in Georgia at the World Championships, when I was final round with the lead card with Johnny McRae, Ricky Wysocki, and was it Adam Hammes in the finals, I think, too?
I think Adam Hammes was there. I don't know if he made it into the finals, but he was certainly there, yeah. He was just up and coming then, right?
That was like his first big stage, and I was like right there. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome. So we had a caller lined up. They dropped off. They got too nervous, I think. So let's go down this road. Simon, as we get ready to wrap up this interview here, appreciate your time, first of all. Recently, a YouTube channel that has nearly 4 million subscribers made a video.
Did you watch that video?
Which video?
About
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
this mechanic arm that throws the disc faster than I was.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Oh, you have to see it.
It's the YouTube channel. Shout out to Stuff Made Here.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a channel that is in my regular subscription feed that I like to watch. And one day, weeks ago, I said, "Oh man, I wish someone like that would do, like whether it's Mark Rober or somebody really big would do a disc golf." And wouldn't you know, this guy did it. Amazing engineer. If you don't follow him, you're not one of the 4 million. But anyways, trying to make a disc robot arm that can throw faster than Simon did. So Simon, is that cool when things like that happen? And then how does it feel like when he messes up your last name?
That happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm used to that since first grade. But I was actually baptized with a totally wrong pronounced name, which is kind of hilarious. But way off track.
Yeah.
No, that channel, Stuff Made Here, I've been subscribed to that channel for years. Like, I
Okay.
knew that guy. I've watched every single of his videos. I think he's a total genius.
Yes.
And he seems like just the coolest guy. Like, a total nerd, but like just the coolest guy. And all the equipment and tools he has in his garage or basement, whatever it is. Like, how? Like, how did he have
Yeah.
that? How did he do that? He has a video, I think, where he explains how he did it. But no, absolutely mind-blowing stuff. He's such a genius. So fun to watch. Every single video I recommend. They're all amazing. And seeing him with disc golf discs and him actually being a recreational player was super cool. And then I commented on that latest video, and I think it's the top comment now with multiple thousand likes. And he replied to that comment as well, which was obviously, I was very starstruck and I was super, super happy. I think he lives in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe USTGC Pro Tour finale time, I somehow maybe can try to reach out to him and do a little collab. That, I mean, a lot of people in the comments were shouting out for that, which would be so cool. I think he tried to beat my then record, which was 89 miles an hour or something like that. But I've thrown over 100. So he technically didn't beat my actual record. But in the video, obviously, it was 89 miles an hour. But I've thrown over 90 multiple times. And my record is 103.
Okay.
So I got to challenge, of course, that arm if it can do 103, which it definitely can. But it might break itself. Like I broke my elbow.
He beat the Lizotte. He beat the Lizotte record.
The Lizotte.
Yeah. So that's great. I'm glad you filled in all those details because that was where I was hopefully leading that question. So that's awesome. I think that's just fantastic. And a collaboration would be pretty cool.
On my channel.
Sure. We'll split it. However you guys do that. But where you are going against the robot arm, like directly head to head.
And a lot of people were saying, because he had the problem that obviously the robot was throwing really fast, but it wasn't getting the rotation on the disc. It needs to fly actually straight. So all his discs were just flipping over into rollers because they're so understable if they don't spin. So everyone in the comments was like, you need a tilt because that will never flip over. Send him a tilt, Simon. So I'll definitely hopefully have some tilts when I get to meet that arm.
That's awesome.
Or he needs to find a way. He said in the video also, obviously he knows he needs some rotation on the disc. He's a genius. But he said it would take him freaking weeks or months to develop a proper mechanism that could throw a disc further than a human. Because humans are pretty amazing if you think about it.
We should spend some time thinking about that sometime. That's pretty cool. I agree. That guy is a genius. He goes through tours at certain points in his basement or now his workshop. That guy's got $1 million worth of tools and like
much more, I think.
He's sponsored, just like you are in disc golf. He's sponsored by tool companies. Like they send him these robot like CNC machines. It's amazing. So go check that out. I just thought it was neat, Simon, that someone featured you. Almost 4 million subscribers.
It was one of my proudest moments.
Awesome.
I was also once in a People Are Awesome video. I don't know if you know what those are, but those are like highlight reels kind of human achievements. A lot of gymnastic stuff or like trick shot almost.
I saw that.
Yeah, and that video had like 140 million views on Facebook. So there's been some cool stuff.
All right, we just need to get you to do an ace that's like 700 feet on video. So it beats Philo Batros and it beats Kevin Jones. Then you can get that one.
I will, I think in the next couple of years, think of the most viral disc golf trick shot possible, because there's this thing on TikTok. I don't know. It's probably on Instagram and all these things as well, where these people sit there with ping pong balls and you see like 100 or thousands of ping pong balls around and they try these crazy trick shots and they show everything. They just do a live stream even or something until they hit it for like hours. And those videos get millions of clicks, and I love watching them too. It's so entertaining. So I'm kind of trying to find exactly kind of like that in disc golf, where it's just going to be a shot where you're like, no, like not possible. But I have to kind of like preserve my arm at the same time. So that's hard.
Yeah.
Because there was a period of time, Simon, where, and I feel like it was even not this last Vlogmas, but the one before, where you were like trying everyday trick shots, like every single day. And that's kind of where this injury, is that true? Where it kind of started coming from? Was it that table one where you're skipping it off the table?
It's a total overuse injury. So I don't know exact point when it started. It just like started creeping up on me and then getting worse and worse with time.
All right. And then finally, I feel like we wouldn't be doing anybody a favor if we didn't bring up this Angry Ape bag. I think I referred to it as a gorilla bag at one point, but it's Angry Ape. It's featured in your recent videos, but it's launching March 23rd.
2 days from now.
Okay, well, 2 days from, depends when people listen to this, but
That's
March
right.
23rd.
Yeah.
And tell us about that. I love the way it looks. Is there any special features to that bag that the others didn't have, or is it only a design?
Yeah, so there's actually a more detailed video coming out, I think, tomorrow on Discmania's channel, where I kind of like show the bag and do like a more presented talk of how the design came to be and what I like about the bag, and basically the main features of any Grip AX5 bag. It's a standard bag, like all Signature series have been standard bags with kind of personalized artwork on them. Some might have like some special zipper tags or something, but no, it's a ThoughtSpace Athletics collab again. So they designed the Angry Ape. I think that's what they're branding that bag now. And at first, of course, the question is like, why Angry Ape? With my personality, yeah. A lot of people online, I read some comments, and a lot of people are just confused. Like, why didn't he go with like a black and red Lizotte style bag? Like that would be much more fitting and much more relatable. But no, at first when I saw that bag for the first time, the first sketches, I was like, I mean, it looks cool, but that's not me. Like, why would that be my signature bag? But then kind of the more I looked over at it and I looked at some other options, and the ape kept like coming back, and I was like, why not just try something different, try something new? And now I have the bag in person, and it's just the coolest. And the bananas in the side pocket and on the back and the neon colors. It's kind of a controversial bag a bit, because it's like you either hate it or you love it. It's one of those things, which is not usually my style. I kind of try to please everyone always. So yeah, I just thought, I literally messaged ThoughtSpace and was like, yeah, let's go with the Angry Ape, because why not? Let's try something different.
And I loved your, again, in your recent vlog, the bananas getting tossed at it all over. That was excellent.
That slow-mo montage I'm so proud of, and it happened so spontaneously again. I mean, we kind of threw, Matt and I threw some ideas back and forth, but no, we went up and I was like, man, there's so many pine trees, Christmas trees up here. Let's make it like a stupid slow-mo montage. And I found this weird jungle like drum theme for the background music, and we did some stupid banana trick shots.
We were gonna. Yeah.
Sorry, we only brought one banana. So by the time the shot worked, you can see the bananas had a rough time.
Yeah. We were talking about using the drone to fly in a banana and just have it like, that'd be funny, bouncing off you as you're throwing. Anyways,
my first initial thought was, in the vlog, I want the banana like hidden in frame on every single shot, just like as a joke.
Find the banana.
But we didn't end up doing that. But I'm leaning towards just doing more and more silly stuff as well.
Excellent. That's excellent, Simon. I have one last question to wrap up this. Again, I appreciate your time. I'm going to go to Dave with this last one. I had it down in my notes, but then somebody in the chat asked it. I think it's relevant. They simply put it as, what advice would you give a parent of a competitive athlete? Okay, so, and I could even ask that question. My son was playing disc golf from a young age, competed at Junior Worlds, loves it. Is there anything that you wished you had done differently? So maybe what advice do you have? And then I know disc golf wasn't what it is now, so there's probably not much you wished you did differently. But what's your advice?
My advice, or what I would have hoped to have done differently?
Both.
What I hoped to have done differently? Nothing.
Okay.
Apart from being more present of the moment when it was happening, because when I look back at things, advice: practice putting. I mean, everybody says that, right? But it really is. It really is. I mean, you can throw as far as you want, but if you can't put that 8-9 meter putt in almost all the time, then you'll be struggling. So practice putting, practice putting, practice putting.
I said that was the last question, but I have to do the follow-up. Did you ever have to tell Simon to do that? To
No.
practice putting?
No, he did
always
that
do it?
all by
Okay.
himself.
Okay.
And like he also always says, he never went out and threw far or did 100 putts after school in the backyard to get better directly, but just because it was fun. And he liked to push himself, and he liked to make 15, 20 putts from 12 meters in a row in the backyard. And so keep it fun. Also one of the things to do. Practice, 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 but keep it fun. And yeah, it'll take you a long ways. Keep it fun.
Coming from Mr. Dave Lizotte, I think there's a lot of wisdom there. I appreciate your time. I feel really weird letting you go as being a host and not getting to shake your hand and say goodbye. Great to meet you. I hope I see you again. We can air shake. Yeah, so good to meet you. Really excited. It was a true pleasure and an honor. I don't have anything else to say besides that. I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you very much. I'm also very honored that I would be brought in here with honor. So, you know what I mean? And I'm also blown away by the setup here and what you've been doing all these years and how often you've supported and helped Simon out. I'm very happy about that. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Simon, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Matt.
We'll catch up again soon. Where are you going next? Texas States? No?
No, I'm going to be in Georgia at the first major of the year at the Champions Cup. That I think
Okay.
I would guess it's 3, maybe 4 weeks from now.
Okay.
And after that, I'm pretty much playing every single big pro tour there is. So then, hopefully, my next time here will be after I win a tournament.
We'll do it. Thank you guys very much. See if you can get like a cookie or something on the way out.
I would love a
will be-
cookie.
Stephanie
please.
has these like blue, I don't know. She does a lot of stuff. Just ask her up there. She'll hook you up.
Amazing wife you have.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Again, I really appreciate it. When do you head out?
Friday
Okay, I'll be there. No,
or
okay.
Saturday.
Thank you, Simon, for bringing him in.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right, everybody. So that was truly special opportunity. When I heard that option was there, I took full advantage of that and said, let's make it happen. And Simon's dad was very gracious to say he would come in. I want to talk about this product. Now, you say, Matt, why are you showing me the chapstick on screen? The reason I'm showing you the chapstick on screen is because it's not chapstick. This is currently my favorite disc golf product that there is on the market. Now, for anybody that is not watching, I am holding what looks like a chapstick container, but inside of it is a product called DG Max Wax. Now, this is not the original product. Let me put it this way. They have a Wax Mini, and this Wax Mini is fully and can be fully used as a mini on the disc golf course. And do you remember, Evan, I tossed this to Simon earlier. And do you remember like what the first thing he said was?
He was like, ooh, it smells good.
And Nick and I say that almost every time. It stands out. And here's the deal. I went and did a little research on this. I reached out to Josh over at DG Max Wax, and he said the scent is called Citradelic, and it's a blend of pure essential oils designed to keep you calm and focused on the course. And of course, it smells great. But that's like, it's multi-purpose. It's good for your fingers. It's good for your health, your brain, your mental game. I think that's excellent.
That's just forward thinking right there.
Well, and I had to tell him over and over, this product in the chapstick, my favorite thing to date. The mini, the reason why I'm not showing the mini on screen right now is because it's in my disc golf bag and it's not here in studio. I asked for a few more so I can have some for the studio. It's an awesome product. And I want to say this, thank you to our listeners and our viewers. A tremendous response. I'm not going to say the numbers, but I was blown away by how many of you went and purchased this. If you're sitting on the fence, just know there are hundreds of you who purchased this. I'll leave it at that. And there's probably hundreds, if not thousands more of you who are like, maybe the product's good, maybe it's not. Try it out. Literally find out for yourself. I will keep talking about this. It's excellent. DG Max Wax gives you unparalleled confidence in your grip in any conditions without sacrificing hand feel. The added grip allows you to spin the disc faster, which means longer, straighter, more accurate flights. All I can say is good things about this product. Go out and check it out. But here's the deal. You can find it at a lot of local pro shops. If your local pro shop doesn't have it, ask for it. But if you want to get a 10% off, go over to dgmaxwax.com, enter code Nick and Matt. You get 10% off. And it's a great product. Try it out. Tag us in it. Tag DG Max Wax. Let us know. Go give reviews on this product after you purchase it from the retailers or wherever you're doing that. So thank you, DG Max Wax. All right, Evan. We need some stats from Belton. And then we're going to talk about how important Belton is, if it is or it isn't. But I just want to know the quick hitting, what happened. I'm sure you have a recap for us.
Yeah, you kind of said to the start. Chris Dickerson took it down by 3 strokes. He led by 6 strokes going into the final round, going into the third and final round, that is, and still took it home by 3 strokes over Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki, who tied for second. Nicola Castro got a 4th place finish, and then Kyle Klein, who made a huge splash last year and was kind of a little quiet to start the season. Maybe we're getting to some courses that fit him better. On the FPO side, Katrina Allen took it down in a thrilling finish. While Chris Dickerson kind of had a solid lead and kept that lead through the end of the tournament, Katrina Allen had a fight for it. She came into the third round with a 1-stroke lead, held on to a 1-stroke lead to win it over Valerie Mandohanu, who made a huge rush from the chase card, I believe. And then Kristen Tatar fumbled a little bit at the end and kind of let Katrina get that victory. She comes in 3rd place, 2 strokes behind Katrina Allen. Something I thought was interesting is Katrina Allen was round rating wise was super consistent from her best round to her worst round, which I think was a 991 to a 976, 15-point difference between the best and the worst. And to me, I was like, that sounds really consistent, does it not?
Yeah, I agree.
Like usually we see big swings, like Chris Dickerson, for instance, was all the way up at 1081. I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe it was his final round was a 1027, which is lower than he should throw, being a 1040 player. 15 rating points I thought would have been really solid. That is not true. That happens very often for the winner. I think I had something like 15 times in the last couple years on Silver Series or better events that the winner has shot with all their rounds within 15 rating points of each other. So maybe that's something we do see, that consistency does matter. Also, a notable statistic that I saw is Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki tied for second. I said that at minus 20 at 22 down, minus 22. Strokes gained tee to green. Paul McBeth was 11.29. Ricky Wysocki was 11.20, 0.09 off. Gained putting. Paul McBeth was 6.12. Ricky Wysocki was 6.21. 0.09 off again. So they tied in the end. 0.09 strokes gained for both tee to green and putting. Kind of mirror image. I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I don't know if their games kind of matched each other this weekend, but really interesting to see the stats line up that way. I
started doing a little bit of investigation, but I knew you'd come in and fill it all in. But I noticed that Paul was throwing very accurately, but it seemed like, and he didn't do it much, but the point is when he did have to scramble, it was like a 50-50 type deal, but it wasn't very much that he had to do that. So that was kind of one of the issues. And then putting, as you mentioned, I think he missed, and it's not, I don't want to say a wrong number. I want to say 5 in circle 1 putts. If you hit those the way you're supposed to, now granted, I know it was very windy, but if you hit those, then is that enough to beat Chris? Either way. And I'm sure if everyone else, but I think he missed more putts than Ricky did inside circle 1. And I'm assuming, I forgot to look if he missed more than Chris, but I think that was Paul's issue. But good for Paul though. He was like what, almost 40th place coming out of round 1.
Yeah, right. Oh, tie. Which I didn't even get to this, but yeah. Our good friend Nick Carl beat Paul McBeth in round 1. That's his first time in his career. I put out some cool stats on Twitter. That was a couple days ago. I'm going to butcher it, but I think it was 65 rounds in a row to start Nick Carl's career when he's faced Paul McBeth that Paul has either beaten him or tied him. And they notably tied at Waco round 1. Mm-hmm. So then Nick one-upped it, beat Paul by 1 stroke. It was his first time. I want to find this number. It's okay. I'm gonna find this number in a second.
He averaged. I have this. If you look that up, because I was like, Nick. It's funny. Nick isn't satisfied. Okay, which is fine. And I think it's motivating to see that to him. 40th place on the Pro Tour is not good enough. Now, coming from me, I'm like, that's amazing. I wish I could do 40th. Even though I said previously, like I could place top 10. It's a kind of a joke. It was a dream joke. But like for him, he's not satisfied with that. And I'm like, dude, you're averaging this event. He averaged 1,015. And I'm like, I know that's not winning, but you're a good disc golfer, Nick. Like, good job, you know? And he's feeling a little down on himself, but give him a little bit more time. Like he's on his way. He beat Paul McBeth in round number 1. Like the tide is changing. No.
He tied Simon sitting right next to us earlier. He tied him at Waco.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm sure both of them felt like they could have played better, but still tying him is
Simon's
really
in
impressive.
the dad haze, like the baby, like new baby haze. Like
But Nick, just keep on getting at it. If that's your fuel to get better, then so be it.
Yeah.
But still take some time to be proud of yourself for what you've done. But this stat's not going to do that. I'm sorry. Paul McBeth, leading into the Open at Belton, had beaten Nick by 624 strokes in total in all the rounds they've played. Same course together, I believe. That's 9.44 strokes better per round. But that does take in a few of Nick's early career. I think Ledgestone, he lost by 20 strokes in rounds before 2017 Ledgestone. That is Nick's first event on the Pro Tour. So I'm sure if I took that number just from like the last 12 months, it'd be a lot lower. But I thought that was interesting. Nick finally brought it down from 624 down to 623, but then let Paul have a few more strokes by the end of the tournament. But I noticed one more really interesting fact is I mentioned how Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki were really close. If you look at just Circle 1 and regulation for the top 3, now that's including Chris Dickerson, they were all exactly 46%. I just thought that was interesting. Just all 3 exactly the same. I mean, Kyle Klein actually had a better Circle 1 in regulation at 52%. Unfortunately, his putting was a little bit lower. He was at 82%, where Ricky, Paul McBeth, and Chris Dickerson were all higher.
So we have a little bit of time here before we bring in Chris Dickerson, which we're going to get him lined up here in a little bit. One of the things that came to my thoughts when it came to him winning and when it came to Katrina Allen winning is both have new bags, right? And you go back to Valerie Mandujano. She won Waco, new bag.
And you go back to Las Vegas Challenge. Who won? Katrina Allen
and Drew Gibson, which is not fully new.
Okay,
He's
I was
open,
just sticking on FPO side, but yes, you're absolutely
that's right. So I mean, we have MPO winners right now that aren't disc manufacturer specific, or they're new to the disc manufacturer they're with. That's interesting. That's our winners right now, and it's hard to ask the question this way, and it's probably not the best way to pose it. But like, who's playing their new bag the best out of those? Would you say? Like, who would you say? And my immediate answer is Katrina Allen.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, and I might bring this up in the interview, I'm not sure, but where Chris talks about like, hey, I'm not fully comfortable, Then he says I am. Then he says I'm going to kill it. So like, he was still on this trend, but like Katrina, how fast did she turn around with DGA? She waited till March to announce it.
Well, I think the announcement came later than when she got her bag.
Sure.
But still, it's incredibly impressive to go, even if she had the full offseason, let's say right after Pro Tour Championship, she announced her switch.
Although I don't think she says that. She says that like it was like, she didn't say last minute, but she did say like it wasn't a thought until it was a thought. But
yeah, no, totally fair. I'm just saying,
I don't know.
Like, even if it was a whole offseason, it's still very impressive to totally switch over back. She was a prodigy for a long time. Had that really down.
Pretty much that's it. Prodigy was it.
Yeah, well, no, she started with
disc.
She started with DGA, and then didn't she go to?
But it was.
Craft?
I guess the point I was trying to.
But that's
make,
like
and that was
8
not
years
right.
ago, right?
Yeah.
6 years ago, something like that.
The point I was trying to make, not accurate, is that. But yes, Prodigy was like her career. Like that's who she was most experienced with.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear from Chris, but he got the hot round in round 1 of Las Vegas Challenge, very first elite round of the season. He's out in the lead, was looking great, but then he kind of fizzled off by the end, and I forget what he finished at, but he wasn't really on the lead card by the end, wasn't really in the hunt for the win, and it kind of felt like he has had these hot rounds. He has done well, but he's also kind of mixed it in with not super great rounds. I mean, even his last round going on to his win was 10-27. That's not really a winner's round. But his first 2 were, I think 10-72 and 10-81, which are incredibly impressive. So I think he might be round to round, kind of going from either confident to not, still getting used to it in that sense. Whereas Chris Dickerson, I think we kind of think of as like a consistent, just like consistently good player. Not super flashy, but just always good. And now he's kind of, I don't know if the trend goes that way or not, but at least it feels that way, that it's a little bit more up and down this season, even though the ups are incredibly, incredibly good.
Help me think of names I might be forgetting here. We have Chris Dickerson, who changed Katrina Allen, Valerie Mandujano, Kona Panis,
Ricky
Wysocki. Is there any other there's other notables in there like Nico, but let's just maybe stick with those top 5. If I had to put them in order right now, based off of the eye test, and that's what I'm doing, the eye test. I'm not the numbers guy right now, Evan. The eye test to me is it's Katrina and then Valerie. And then it's a little bit of a split between Ricky and Dickerson, but I would almost say Dickerson has had more firepower than Ricky has had, but Ricky's been playing consistent. But that's a split for me. I feel like if I had to give the nod, oh man, I kind of feel like Ricky, only because Ricky hasn't said anything negative about this. Not even like, hey, I'm trying to dial them in. So it'd be Ricky, Chris, and that's even a little, I still call that a split, but then it's Kona. Like Kona, we're not going to make a full topic out of that right now, but like you have to wonder what's going through her mind right now. She's going to be getting married soon. She just signed a massive contract deal. She's not finishing where she wants to be for sure. And she's not finishing as good as she did last year. That is interesting. I'm not blaming that on the disc change. I think she has maybe a lot going on, but you have to wonder the pressure that's going to start to build there.
I'm also going to say Haley King, like we all thought, like, when is she going to take the leap up and become like a top 3 with Katrina Allen, Paige Pierce, and then Haley King? Europeans come over and Kristen Tatar's kind of taken that kind of number or top 3 spot. Is it just the courses don't fit Haley King's game? Is she still getting used to it? Is the season just kind of starting off slow? I think we all know her potential, so I'm a little bit surprised she hasn't made as much of a splash as she has. And then I'll also mention Matt Oram, who unfortunately had to go through the surgery to start the season. I don't think he's played a competitive event since then. I don't know when he's planning on coming back. But you got to make, like, he's probably going to make a splash eventually too. You're at least waiting on it.
Yeah, so we're going to find out as the season continues on, like who's going to be able to handle this, and will it come down to it being a bag issue? Let's say Ricky he got second here, but let's say Ricky, and this is not a hot take, Ricky doesn't win any events. Do we say, oh, it's a learning year for him? Is that the storyline? Or do we just say disc golf is getting that much more competitive? Paul came out, maybe it was the right time. He came out and went to Discraft, but he was able to do a lot of winning right out of the gate with Discraft. So I'm not trying to manufacture or fabricate anything here. It's just the questions that I have about it.
Oh, I'll say real quick for Ricky Wysocki is I don't think there's any worry there, any doubt that he's not a top player.
No.
I'd say it's guaranteed top 3 player. You could fit any of Paul McBeth and Eagle McMahon in that top 3. It just, if he doesn't win at all this season, I would be very surprised. I think we kind of look back at, was it 2019 as Lyme disease year, and kind of draw parallels between this year and that.
Yeah, for sure. So we are working right now in the background to get Chris Dickerson lined up here on the show. So let me see here while I work my magic and Ben works his magic. I think we've done it, Ben. Let's go ahead and introduce to the show Mr. Chris Dickerson, everybody, winner of the Open at Belton. How is it going, Chris? How does the win feel?
Hey, doing good. Feels good.
Okay. Feels good. How do you treat Silver Series in your mind? Are you taking it with a grain of salt? How do you feel about Silver Series? The competition was there, but what's your take on it?
Yeah, so really the only difference between a Silver Series and actual Pro Tour event is the money added. Like you said, the competition's there, so I look at it just like a Pro Tour event.
Okay. So in your mind, you're going to build off of this and say this was just as good to me.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. I'm not a stalker. I'm a guy that talks disc golf, and I was looking at your social media coming out of Vegas, and you said, "Hey man, you didn't say hey man to me, but you posted more or less saying, I'm still trying to dial in my bag." Okay. You weren't happy with your performance. I'm still trying to dial in the bag. And then I noticed when you were coming out of Waco, you said, and this was a week later or somewhere in that range, I'm feeling extremely confident with my new discs. So in a week time, you felt a significant change. And then you went to Belton and you just took it down. So I think you were telling us what you were actually feeling accurately. But what was the change to you from Vegas to Waco? Totally different kind of courses. But for you, what do you think the change was that led you to feel so confident with your discs?
So just a couple of different things. A little bit more time getting to throw them, and getting a couple of discs in the lineup that I had not had a chance to use up until then. One of those discs was the Predator. So I think that's a very underrated disc. That's a disc that I will be using a lot, and I used it a good amount at Belton.
Okay. And I was just going to ask too about Belton. From my perspective as a fan viewing the coverage, it seemed extremely windy. Is that an accurate representation of that round or those rounds?
Yes. Very windy. The second round, I think it was only like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, maybe 15, but it wasn't very much at all compared to the other days.
Okay. You had a significant lead going into the final round. Evan, how many was it?
6 strokes.
6 strokes. Thank you. I'm always forgetting in the moment here. And you started off teeing off in the strong wind that we just talked about, and you pushed out of bounds. How does Chris Dickerson react to something like that? Are you really strong mentally? Like, how do you react to that?
You can react to it a bunch of different ways. I wasn't happy about it. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't be happy about it, but it's what you do after you react to it. So I got upset. I didn't think the wind would push it that much. So you just got to move on to the next shot. So I think there's where the mental battle comes into play. You can't linger on that shot. You just got to go into the next one.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, Ben, let's open up the phone lines in case someone wants to call and get a question in. Again, if you are live viewing the show, feel free to call in and ask any question you like. Again, we always tell our guests they don't have to answer, but you can ask it. We'll let you get the questions in if you have any. The phone number's on the screen. Let's go down this road here a little bit. You talked about now, at least coming out of Waco again, you said, I'm feeling very confident with the discs. Now you have a new discs. You mentioned a few of them that are added to your bag. What I'm trying to think how to ask this question. You go into the woods at Belton and you're able to, I say the woods at Belton. How much of that course is wooded? Not very much.
Okay. So there are 4 holes that are wooded at Belton.
Okay.
So there are 14 that are not.
Okay. And I think where my head was when I was asking that question was Waco. You went from Vegas where you said, hey, I'm not feeling very strong with my discs. Then you went to Waco and you came out of Waco saying, I'm feeling very confident. I'm taking this away from Belton right now. And I'm going to Waco because that's another event that's happened. How did you feel at Waco? Like your performance at Waco, like your throws, did everything feel really good? You just missed a few shots to put you in the final round?
Yeah, everything was feeling good going into that final round. The wind picked up quite a bit, and I think the only disadvantage I had there was that was like the first real taste of throwing the new discs in a really, really windy situation. Vegas, it was kind of windy, but it wasn't near as windy as Waco. So I had an idea. I had a pretty good idea of how the discs were going to fly. There was a couple of times where I overestimated or underestimated a disc, and it didn't turn out the best. But the good thing about Waco is you play holes 1, 2, and 3. You get out of the wind for a little bit. You go into the woods, and then you come back out on, I think, 13 or so. So there in that wooded stretch is really where I think I made up some strokes.
Yeah, and I was miscorrect. What's the right word? I was wrong about saying Belton being wooded. Again, I was thinking Waco because here's where I wanted to go with this is to say, then you went to Belton and not as wooded, and you were able to play on a course where honestly I'm watching it going, you're going against very far throwers. I mean, you're talking, well, anybody. I mean, not anybody. Why am I having a brain freeze? What's his name? Give it to me. Lead card, funny hair, looks like a Muppet. No.
Oh goodness.
Who is it? Why am I having? What's it?
I'm so confused by
End of a sponsored player.
You're talking about Calvin.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone in here is just laughing their heads off at me. I had the biggest brain freeze moment there. My point is, extremely far. Everyone's just crying now in here. Extremely far throwers. You have Kevin Jones. You have Ricky Wysocki. You've got a lot of players that can put down a lot of distance. You have been, even on our show, you have said, like accurately, I'm in that like 450 range. You performed at Belton, and you feel like distance is an advantage, right?
Yeah.
So how proud of yourself do you feel that you did that with the farthest throwers in the game?
I feel pretty good. One, I think whenever it becomes a really windy situation, I always tend to lean on the overstable disc, and I've always kind of done that instead of trying to play hyzer flips and stuff like that into the wind. So, and I tend to throw those more overstable discs whenever it's not windy. So I think in situations like that, whenever the wind picks up, I'm throwing the discs I'm kind of used to instead of some people are guessing, kind of like what I was doing at Waco. Maybe this will work, maybe it won't. I have an idea of how it's going to fly, but maybe not. So, yeah, when the wind picks up, I'll lean on those overstable discs.
Okay. And I want to take a moment here because I am somebody who talks and records live. I want to take a moment to reel back just a hair and say, I have no intention of comparing Calvin to a Muppet. I was literally thinking the hair, okay? Like, I was like, I'm major brain freeze. So there's no offense meant there at all. I like Calvin. In fact, Evan, I don't know if you know this, right behind you on that couch, we sat and played games together, me and Calvin. So we're friends, okay? We're friends. We have a call lined up. I'd like to bring in the call and see what they have for a question here. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You got a question?
I listen to a lot. And yes, I do have a question. Chris Dickerson has played a lot of tournaments in West Virginia at the Seth Burton Memorial, I believe, he's frequented. I've watched him personally, and watching him lace these lines and how West Virginia disc golf is so much harder than I look at Texas, whatever that Texas course is, and I think of West Virginia. It's a 2-question thing. Have you played the black course over there in Moundsville, which is, I think, probably the best course I've ever stepped foot on? And have you played at Johnny Sias's 2 courses, which is the Lazy 8 and the Crazy 8, or the Lucky 8? And the West Virginia disc golf is about ready to make a move, I believe, based on some sources. And I'd like to hear his thoughts on how awesome West Virginia disc golf is, and extremely punishing. Thanks. You guys have a good night.
Thank you very much. Chris, do you have any comment on West Virginia disc golf?
Yes. So I've played 3 courses in West Virginia as far as tournaments and stuff like that. The black course, designed by Johnny Sias, that is one of my favorite courses. I haven't played it in a very long time, but it was a really good layout, mixture of open and wooded. Now, the Seth Burton Memorial plays on 2 different kinds of courses. The Seth Burton course and the Orange Crush course. Completely different. Like I said, Seth Burton is more open, kind of park style wooded. The Orange Crush is completely wooded, and it is it's the type of course that they probably wouldn't have on the Pro Tour. Not because it's not good, but it's overly wooded. I think it's a really good setup. I would love to play it as a Pro Tour course, but you can't fit spectators in the woods. Ooh. So all the courses I played in West Virginia are really good. Like I said, I've played the 3 of them, so I haven't played a bad one yet.
Okay. Okay, yeah, and there's a whole conversation there about spectators in the woods. I might follow up with that in a minute, but we have another caller lined up. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You got a question?
Hey, it's Mikey, round two. This time I learned to mute the stream so I'm not hearing myself so I don't sound weird. But Chris, I'm a huge fan, and I've noticed you've moved away from doing the step putt in the most recent tournaments. And I was just wondering, has that been like a conscious decision of yours with the new putters? Are you feeling more comfortable just going from your traditional staggered putt? Or is that something else? Maybe you're just building from the ground up with the new putters. Love to hear. Thanks, Chris. Bye.
So that comes from about, I would say, close to a year ago. I got into a kind of a slump whenever it came to outside the circle putting. It just didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like it used to, and they weren't going in. So I started doing standstill putts, more traditional style of putts, and then if it's a really long putt, it'll be a jump putt. So that's what has been feeling the best. And like any other sport, if you force something, if it doesn't feel good, it's probably not going to work out. So I've just been going with what feels the best.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate that. We have another caller lined up. The phone is hot tonight, Chris. Thanks for coming on. Welcome to the show. You have a question for Chris?
Yeah, hi. This is Nick from the Nick and Matt Show. I don't really have a question for Chris, but I did just want to say congratulations. I didn't really get a chance to say it after the round at Belton, but huge congratulations, and I hope everyone is doing well tonight.
Nick, you can call into your own show through the special hotline. You don't have to use this one. That's pretty funny. So
I don't even know what the special hotline is.
Oh, the other number we gave you. But that's awesome. So I don't know if Chris knew that, but Nick wasn't in studio tonight, so Nick had to call in on his own show.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I knew that. So I just want to say, thanks for reaching out, and thanks for, coming to your own show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge fan. Wouldn't miss this show for the world. Unfortunately, I have to do a massive drive right now, so I figured it'd be safe to, just focus on the driving and not actually, being there in person. But huge fan of the show. Huge fan of yours, Chris. Huge fan of Discraft, and just wanted to call in. Just give my well wishes.
That is so funny. You guys are cracking me up. I love it. This is 2 weeks in a row. I've started almost crying and sweating for something like that. So thank you. That was excellent. The humor was excellent, Chris. I want to thank you for reaching out. Okay. And then Nick just responds immediately. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. But all right, I'll let you guys get back to the show. I'm gonna turn it back on.
Nick, did you hear the part where we talked about your stats?
No, I don't want to know about my stats.
Nick
I don't
knows
know if
all
I
about
actually want
them.
to.
All right, rewind it. You can hear some good things we said and some scary things. But we said some stuff.
The
All
scary things probably being like 50% circle one, 10% circle two. Those might be the scary things.
Oh boy. All right, we're actually going to get into stat or fiction. Feel free to hang out if you want. We could keep you in. It's up to you.
No, I'm gonna
Okay.
hang up now, and I'm going to enjoy being a listener tonight.
I thought you were going to say I'll hang up and I'll hear your answer offline. Okay, cool. We'll talk to you later. All right. Bye. So Chris, we'll pay you later for being the co-host here. Okay. We're going to take one more phone call, Ben. Let's answer this one. Again, this is hot phone lines tonight. Thank you for calling the Nick and Matt Show. You have a question for Chris?
Yes, Chris, this is Daniel from Texas, and I was wondering, it looked like you lost 2 strokes to Paul within the first 4 holes, and I was wondering, did you even know that, or does you or your wife look at the scores? And secondly, when you're in the lead, is it different when you know that Paul is the one charging behind you as opposed to another player? Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
So, within the first 4 holes, I was pretty sure I gave up strokes to at least one person with how I was playing, because I think I started off with the out of bounds on the first hole, I know I gave up 2 to Ricky and 1 to Calvin and Emerson. So those were the 3 on the card. Birdied hole 2. I think I parred hole 3, but then I bogeyed hole 5. So that was another one. I'm pretty sure I gave back at least 1 to most of the people in the field and 2 to Calvin because he eagled it. You know, Paul always has good rounds, and you've got to, you know he's there whenever he's playing a tournament, whenever he's on lead card or chase card. But there's so many people now in our sport that can compete for the win. You've got to watch out for everybody.
Interesting. I think I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but you got to respect everybody, because I don't think you're probably, and you just kind of said this, you're not actively thinking about, oh man, they're coming to get me, they're behind me playing better than I am. But you respect all those players.
Yeah, of course. And that's something you can't do. You can't say, oh, I'm really focused on what one player or another is doing. So, for example, I'll use Paul for an example. I can't focus on what he's doing, whether he's on the card or not. The only time that you can really, in my opinion, focus on what somebody's doing is whenever it comes down the stretch. So on hole 17, I think was the first time I checked the scores of the last round, and I made sure what the scores were for everyone around me. I know Ricky was close, Calvin, Paul was there. Paul parred 17 and he birdied 18 to make it, 3 strokes, I believe. So yeah, on 17 coming down the stretch, you do need to know what other people are doing, but that early on in the round, it doesn't really matter as long as you're not doing anything too bad.
Yeah, we hear that sentiment from a lot of the best players, and I would include you in that list. So it's something we can take away for sure. Are you ready, Ben? And if you don't mind, Chris, stick around for Stat or Fiction. You played really well last time. You down for another round?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
I'm just upset that Nick's not here tonight.
Stat or Fiction, presented by Stat Mando.
Did you hear that, Nick? He's you're driving and you're listening. He's upset that you're not around to be beaten. So I'm sure Nick got a good smile out of that one. All right, so we have Evan up on here because when Nick's not on the show, things get all thrown off, and I don't feel like reproducing the show in a different way. So Evan actually has an opportunity to score tonight if we don't get it right. So if we both guess Stat, Chris, and it's Fiction, he gets a point. So we can't let Evan beat us at the very least, but I'd still like to beat you. Chris is very competitive. Give it to us, Evan. Let's go.
Okay. So Ricky Wysocki tied for second at this most recent tournament. And with that, Ricky Wysocki has finished podium at every single Silver Series event that he has played.
Okay. And because we're the only ones answering, Chris, I'll start. You can go second, and then we'll flip it for the next round.
Okay.
My analysis that I am going to talk out loud, because maybe it's wrong and it'll throw Chris off, but I'm trying to think how many Silver Series he plays a fair amount for players that play Silver Series. Like he does. He plays a lot. I don't feel like that's true. I'm going to say Fiction.
I was thinking the same thing. As much as I don't want to pick the same thing as you, I think it's Fiction.
Okay, and the fun part here, and that's awesome, we actually have... Did you put that up, Ben? How do people know to answer already? That's awesome. If you're in the live chat, you can answer. It looks like we dropped the link in there for you so that you can answer. And we have 57% saying Fiction as well. Right now, 42% saying Stat. So there are people who think Stat, but more say Fiction. Let's see if that's right. Evan, what do you got?
Yeah, and I think someone in the chat might be a tad confused. When I say podium, that means they have come in first, second, or third. Not necessarily second at every single time. I know you guys would know
right.
that, but
Yes,
just want to clear that up.
Yes.
It's top 3 essentially.
Okay.
And with that, the answer is Fiction.
Okay.
Wysocki has played incredibly well at Silver Series. He has finished top 5 at every event, but at 2021 Vintage Open, he finished 5th, which was outside of podium. He does have 3 wins, including Belton last year. and this was his. Yeah, it's only was his second non-win on a Silver Series. So 3 wins to go with a second place and a 5th place. Very impressive.
Yeah, interesting. Had you asked me about Calvin Heimberg, I would have had a few thoughts about his Silver Series performances. But anyway,
How he won Vintage last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only event.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I like Calvin. Chris is gonna go away from here being like, "What's Matt's bone with Calvin?" I don't know. It's just become a thing on our show, Chris, and I don't know. It's just funny. People are like, Matt hates Cal. It's just one of these things I go now. All right, let's give number 2, Evan.
All right. So Katrina Allen took it down on the FPO side with Valerie Mandujano finishing second. They both finished on the podium. They've also both finished on the podium last week with Mandujano taking it down and Katrina Allen finishing third. Before Waco in 2022, that has never happened before, being Katrina Allen and Valerie Mandujano both finishing podium at an elite, major, or Silver Series event. So prior to 2020 Waco, Mandujano and Katrina Allen had never both finished on the podium at a silver or better event. 2022 Waco. What did I say?
2020, but that's okay.
Oh, excuse me.
2022, and we're talking specifically about Kat and Valerie.
Yes.
Okay. Do you need that repeated at all, Chris, or are you good to answer?
No, I think I'm good. I'm gonna say that is a stat.
I feel like, ooh, this is interesting.
And I'm saying it's never happened before. So if you say stat, you agree it's never happened
before.
Yeah.
Before 2022.
Before Waco last week.
Right. Wait, and just to be clear, you weren't saying back to back again. You're just saying ever.
Yeah, just
okay.
ever, yes.
Yep. Okay. This week it happened back to back, but has it ever happened before that? I feel like Valerie flew under the radar for last year. I can't remember. We had her on. See, I'm going into my interview queue. I'm like, we had her on to discuss a performance, and I'm trying to remember what that performance was. I want to say it was Waco, but I'm trying to remember what happened there. Did Katrina place podium there? Man. Well, for the sake of drama and fun, I'm going to roll the dice and say that it is fiction.
All right. And before I say the answer, I'll say the live chat has stat at 72%, a whopping 72%.
Wow. Yeah.
That's wow. I did not expect that.
Good call out there, by the way. Thanks to the live chat for getting in on this. It makes it really fun. 27% saying fiction. Come on, 27%. Here we go.
But I will say the fans and Chris Dickerson are correct. This is a stat. They actually both finished, or sorry, not both. The worst finishing between the two was 4th at the Open at Belton last year. I actually didn't write down who finished 4th and who finished better than 4th. But the worst finished 4th. Music City Open, the worst finished 5th, along with Ledgestone in 2020. A lot of good finishes, but not that podium for both of them until this year.
Okay, thanks again to the live chat. We still have another question coming up here, or a stat or fiction from Evan. My only chance is to get this right to tie it, to push a playoff. So, and I get to answer first, which is the problem. All right, so go ahead, Evan. What do you got?
So, on statmanager.com released a new kind of stat page called Battle Count. This is the all the unique players you have beaten in your career. So if like Chris Dickerson beat Paul McBeth this week, he had done that before in his career, but that would be 1. So it only counts once, beating Paul McBeth
each
at any
player
point in your career.
Yes.
It's each unique out of all your events together, whether you won or you came in second to last and beat that person.
Okay, that's a good little clarifier.
Yes.
So if he got 70th, but Paul got 71st, he beat Paul. Got it.
Yes, but once you do it once, it counts. Doesn't matter if you lose the other 150
And you have
times.
this stat?
Yeah, it's on our page right now. So if you looked at it, you would know.
Okay.
Ben,
look at, no, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
So the stat or fiction associated with that is Paul Ulibarri, has beaten more unique players in PDGA events than anyone else in the Statmando database. Want to be clear, but we have most players in every single one that played Elite Series events last year.
So I really hate this portion because if he's a game, do you guys agree we have to make Chris answer first? Because he's only going to answer what I'm answering to guarantee the win. Do you see what I'm saying? Like whatever I answer, he answers and he wins.
Yeah, maybe this.
So,
do you buy into that, Chris?
I will definitely go first
because
I don't want to be accused of that. I was already thinking, and I was prepared to explain myself and say I'm not doing this just to get the win.
Well, good.
So
I
yeah,
gave you the opportunity.
I appreciate that. So yeah, I will answer first, and I will say that is a stat.
Dang it. Now,
see, we would have answered the same thing.
We would have answered the same thing, and I was going to answer it very quickly, that it was a stat. But I've done this in the past. I go, do I just roll the dice? There's some crazy thing out there where maybe like another player's played as long or as good. There's definitely a chance of that. And that's my only chance to tie it up. But Evan also tracks stats for how we play this game. And he knows how many times I've answered correct versus Nick. So like there's that on the line too. So getting it right is important. But I feel like there's not enough confidence here, and I'm rambling on. I'm going to say fiction because dang it, I'm looking at the live results now. the live poll is 81% stat. So either way, it's a big all in at Vegas. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
You said you're going with fiction?
Yeah, I got it.
Well, I didn't think this. I said it was on statmania.com, and they can just look it up.
Oh.
So that could be the situation because the fans and Chris Dickerson are right yet again. This is a stat. Paul Ulibarri. Why am I struggling with that?
Berry, whatever.
Yeah, right?
Bullyberry, if you watch Jomez.
He has beaten 5,868 unique players throughout his career. That's a little over 100 than Dave Feldberg, who's at 5,729. We got Nicola Castro in third, Avery Jenkins, Greg Barsby, and Paul Macbeth in sixth. So Ulibarri has taken it down. That's a hard stat to catch up. It'll be interesting to see how it kind of evolves over time. We also have unique players lost to. So if you're curious, Paul Ulibarri has lost to 795 people throughout his career. And
how many of those people has he beaten though? That'd be another fun one to figure out.
How many people? Yeah. So if there's anyone he's lost to that he hasn't beaten, that's really interesting, and actually should figure that out.
You will. You'll text me tomorrow.
And then we have one more column, which is the ratio. So that's just, how many people you've beaten unique compared to how many people you've lost to, or divided by. So Chris Dickerson's actually second on that list by that ranking, with only Paul Macbeth beating him. Paul Macbeth's ratio is 15.7. And Dickerson is at 14.2.
Wow.
Lots of cool stuff. Shameless plug there.
Find it at Statman
to tie into stat or fiction.
It is, the website has come leaps and bounds against last year. Like I'm trying to be unbiased. Like when I first looked, I'm like, this is kind of like rudimentary website. Now it's come a long way. It's awesome. So much information. Chris, thank you for coming on the show. I don't know if you like beef jerky. Do you like beef jerky?
I don't.
Okay. Do you know somebody who does like beef jerky?
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I mention that is because if you would like to gift beef jerky to someone in your life that does like beef jerky, literally hit up as Chris Dickerson, Double G Craft Jerky, and they will send you a variety pack of jerky as a thank you for coming on the Nick and Matt show. So we appreciate that. Also, there is a product out there, and we're just giving all the love to our sponsors. We're passing it along to you if you would like to. You do not have to endorse. You do not even have to say you've received it. DG Max Wax, a really cool grip enhancing product. If that sounds like something of interest to you, we'd like to provide that to you as well. Hit us up. We'll make sure you get that product in your hands. Thank you for coming on the show. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out or anything we missed that you'd like to make mention of?
No, I don't think y'all missed anything.
Good. That's the way we like it. Thank you for your time, Chris. We really appreciate it. You're really good at responding back to us, and we always value that very much. Thanks for your time, and have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you all for having me.
All right, Chris. Good luck out there. All right, everybody. So I mentioned Double G Craft Jerky. So we do this often, and I think last week somebody commented, Nick and Matt show just talked about beef jerky for 4 minutes, and they literally made that comment. 4 minutes, and I'm going to pass the bag around. This time we've got the teriyaki. So this beef jerky, everybody, is the jerky that you want to have in your bag. I am going through it like a madman right now. Thank you to, Double G Craft Jerky. I got contacted this week by Garrett Gerthy himself, saying, I'm really glad you're enjoying the product. Thank you for spreading the good news. Garrett is an awesome individual. This jerky is made from a cut of brisket. Brisket's premium lean cut that gives off the good beefy flavor, and it often chews like a succulent steak. It's a popular choice with small batch beef jerky makers, which is what this is. So we've had all different flavors in here. This is the teriyaki. I just ordered a whole nother set of the jerky because it's so good. We're going to talk about all the flavors again. I do want to give feedback here. If you purchase this, a portion of the sales goes to support Double G's Children Foundation. If you buy the Paul Macbeth barbecue, that portion goes to help Paul Macbeth Foundation. So you're doing 2 amazing things. Well, 3. You're filling your body with awesome flavor and meat, and you're giving back to disc golf at the same time as giving back to that's 4 Double G Craft Jerky, the business itself. So, Ben, you're over there typing away, making the show awesome. You like jerky. What do you think of Double G Craft Jerky? I'm asking you a question so I can take a bite.
I love Double G Craft Jerky. This select piece right here tastes like a little hoisin, a little Worcestershire, kind of like the steaks tips we had upstairs with Simon you made. And it's obviously teriyaki.
Wow. This is really good.
It's moist, it's supple, and it's soothing, and it's very appetizing, and it fills my soul.
Soothing. I that's not in the words that we were supposed to use to discuss jerky, but it's a great word. Soothing.
And like Ben said, Matt, you made some killer. Oh, that's not the right camera.
Ben's taking down the jerky. He's hitting the wrong cameras.
Like Ben was saying earlier, Matt, you made some incredible steak tips earlier. You marinated it for a day or something. I don't know, some chef speak that I might not know of. And they came out so good. I had dinner before I came, and I was like, I'm still having some, and I'm still having jerky. And now I'm having this jerky, and it's like, that steak was so good. This is just a beef jerky version of that incredible steak. It tastes very similar. Obviously, this is more of a jerky version, but I'm impressed with both. I'm incredibly full, and I'm still eating some.
I know. They do have gluten-free options. I saw the chat ask about vegetarian beef jerky, which I'm sure is a thing, but that's not of interest to me. It may be for you. Maybe you should hit them up and ask them if that's going to be something in the future. But I will tell you, I did not think teriyaki was my favorite. And this was me going, I love the garlic. I love the boom sauce. I love the cracked pepper. I love McBeast barbecue. And this was the last bag I was saving for this point. And I just took a bite, and I'm like, okay, I think I was wrong. This is actually really good. So there, did we talk about jerky again for 4 minutes? I hope so. It's that good. Go get your favorite. Visit doublegcraftjerky.com. Use the code Nick and Matt. Do that, please. It lets them know that the sponsorship is valuable on our show. We value our customers. You're their customers. You're our listeners. We work together to make disc golf go around. They have player packs. They're going to send me a player pack, which is pretty cool. They're going to send me a player pack so I can show everybody what that looks like. You can reach out to them for your player packs. If you're a tournament director, this is the way you want to go. A lot of players are sick of getting disc. At least give them the option between a disc and jerky, or the cooler bag, or the hat. Honestly, how often have I worn this hat since you've last seen me? Like every time. I like this hat a lot. Go check them out. Go support them. There you go. 4 minutes of jerky. Again, I hope you guys appreciate that. And Chris, whether he likes jerky or not, he can gift that to somebody who's going to be like, thank you, Chris Dickerson. You made my life. All right. There are a few topics that we're doing good for ourselves, Evan. Nick's not here, and we're still going to take the full show.
Look at that.
Nick, I hope that put a smile on your face, because we all know I'm the reason the show goes long. All right. So Silver Series, Evan, how much? And Ben, you're included in this, man. I know you sit there quietly, but I want to hear all of your conversations around this, especially with Ben being a little bit newer to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Silver Series, how much weight do you put on that? Are all your eggs in a basket if Paul Macbeth doesn't win a Silver Series? Are all of your eggs in a basket if Chris Dickerson wins? If Gannon Burr would have won, would we have said, there it is again? If Valerie had won back-to-back at a pro tour at Waco and then came into Belton and won, would we have said she's the next coming of Paige Pierce? Like, or does it matter who wins? And then you put the value on it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say is like, well, if this person won, then we put a lot of value. But if Paige would have won, or, you know, whatever, Katrina wins, It's not that big of a deal. So that's my setup. What do you guys think about that?
I'm going to do another Statmando plug here.
Okay.
I think the Open at Belton.
And I'm going to take a bite of jerky.
Okay. The Open at Belton, I think, it has been an incredibly good field. Last year, it was the best Silver Series event, according to our field strength ranking system. It was better than Des Moines Challenge and Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. I don't even know. Delaware
Stafford
Championship.
Woods, is that the one?
No, that was a Silver Series.
Okay.
But if I'm saying for Elite Series events, it was better than those two as far as field strength goes. So when we do our ranking system, we do it based on that field strength. So Belton, if it's better than a few Elite Series events, we're going to count it as better than a few Elite Series events. If a Silver Series like Stafford, like Ben just mentioned, was kind of a lower Silver Series event, it was almost like a low, medium A-tier event. No discredit to that. It was just a tough schedule, and it was a weekend for a lot of players to take off. But that was a much lower event, so I'm going to count it lower. Ricky Wysocki last year winning the Open at Belton was much more impressive than Matt Oram winning Stafford Open at the end of the season. When all things are said and done, and you look at Disc Golf Pro Tour standings, they're going to count the same, and that makes sense, and that's okay. But as far as like weighting this win, I think it is very impressive. Chris Dickerson took the Open at Belton down. Like he said, it wasn't really a wooded course, and a lot of people see him as a wooded player. So I'm impressed. I think it's a good sign for him. Before we know it, we're going to hit a major. We got one more Elite event. We got one more Silver Series event, I believe. And then we're at a major, which is crazy to hear that we're hitting it so early. And I think it's very telling that Chris Dickerson won this event, that Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki tied for second, that Nikola Castro was up there. Kyle Klein had a good finish. I think all 5 of those players are looking good for the Champions Cup. I think Katrina Allen, she won Las Vegas Challenge, and then she wins this event. Valerie Mandujano won last week at Waco Annual Charity Open, and then comes in second here. I think both those players are primed for an incredible run at the Champions Cup, and I would not be surprised if one of those two do take it down, just because they are playing so hot. And seeing them play well this past weekend at the Open of Belton has me impressed, and looking forward to that Champions Cup.
What do you think, Ben? What's the value of a Silver Series to you?
To me, I was kind of going along with Evan's point. I think it depends on the field personally. Like you said, Stafford Woods was Matty Oak, I think, won by, I don't know, Statmando, a lot of strokes.
I think it was 11.
Yeah. Crazy amount. So it's like not that impressive. But something like the Open at Belton, tons of competition, pretty much as good as any elite, the people there. And I'd say it just depends on the field. That's all I say. Chris Dickerson winning the Open at Belton, I think, is amazing. Super good win. Matty O winning Stafford Woods last year was just like, he's Matty O. He's gonna crush everyone because no one was there. That's yeah.
I think that's competition, right?
Competition.
I think I'm there with you guys on that idea, but I would like to see more value placed on pro tours, regardless of the field. But take this to, and I know some people don't like this, but take this to PGA or anywhere else. If you had somebody compete against a field that was the same as the majors, if you will, and I don't mean majors as in like a golf major, I just mean like major sports. If you play against a field that is the level or the quality of a major field, do you value that? Even if the title of the event is reduced, do you value that the same while they did it? I don't. And that came out of my mouth. And here's why. And I'm developing this thought in the moment, so I want you to push back if it doesn't make sense. If the other players don't value this the same, if the preparation's not there the same going into Belton as it would be for a USDGC or a Worlds, right? Let's say Chris Dickerson wanted this win more because to him, it matters because of his new disc sponsor changeup, right? It matters more than it does to Ricky, even though Ricky changed up. My point is, going into these events, is the same pressure there? What do you think? I mean, it's not a big event. The field is there stacked. I guess, do you hear what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get you with the pressure aspect for sure. I kind of agree. I don't think the pressure is as there, but I still think it's pretty impressive for a stacked field, someone to come out on top, even if it's not as much pressure.
Sure. I think there's just something to be said, and everyone's going to go, Macbeth fanboy, Matt Graham, Macbeth fanboy. But like Worlds, there's a reason Paul comes out at Worlds often. I think it has to do with his ability with the big events to treat them differently than others do. And I'm not saying everybody. He's not alone, but his stats are pretty much alone if you look at them all. So do you see what I'm saying there, Evan? Is there any validity to that? Like maybe Dickerson holds this event higher than the others. Like, do you see what I'm saying? They come into this event differently prepared, and to Paul, does it matter if he wins or loses this? Like, his mindset's maybe whatever. Like, I'm just gonna go try to keep the ball rolling. You know, I'm not downplaying the field. It was a good win. I'm just thinking of perspective.
I think there's a chance that some players, especially maybe if they're out of it, let's say you're in like, I mean, Paul had the incredible finish from being in 36th place after the first round, but let's say after the second round, you're sitting in about 35th place. You might treat it a little bit more relaxed. I could see that because it's a silver series. If you make last cash, it's like not as much money as elite last cash was. So like maybe in that situation, I could see that. But I think if you're in top 5 and you have a chance to win, I don't think Paul Macbeth or Ricky Wysocki were letting off the gas at all to let oh my goodness, Chris Dickerson win. I don't think they were just like, like it's just a silver series. Like I'm not going to try my hardest to catch him. I don't think that's the case at all. Same on the FPO side. I think Kristen Tatar and Valerie Mandujano wanted it just as much as Katrina Allen. They're still incredibly impressed with trying in this field. And kind of like I was saying before, I think it's momentum into Champions Cup. That major is quick. It's April that major is happening. You don't have a lot of time to get rolling and get the momentum, which I think with how strong the fields are lately in 2022 compared to just 2 years ago, but compared to 3 years ago, how strong the fields are, you need to have this momentum. You can't just be a great player and go in. And, you know, I'll be honest, like Simon Lizotte going to play Champions Cup, I think it's going to be a little tough for him. He played Waco, got the competitive juices flowing, but then just going into Champions Cup might be a little hard. If I was him, I might go out a week early. And I think Music City Open's happening the weekend before the Silver Series event. Get that going. If you can get a top 10 finish at the event before, you're feeling really good and going in. So it doesn't matter to me if it's a Silver Series, if it's a stacked field and a random B tier, or if it's an elite event. You want to get ready for this major, which goes to your point that majors are treated higher. And so you want to get rolling into this, whether the status of that event is there or not.
Sure. So there's different facets to this conversation that should be broken down more. We're not fully prepared to do that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I think there is a different feel to it. So that could affect players differently. But to your point, and I hate to say this live and have it recorded forever, and some people probably know this, but I ask stupid questions sometimes just so we can have a conversation. Because it's pretty cut and dry in my mind. If you beat the stacked field, like, good job to you. But I just wanted to bring up the rest. You know, hey, hate it or love it. That's what I'm here for.
I think it's good. It drives conversation. It lets people hear both sides, whether you are behind it or not.
Good. Thank you. I'll pay you for that comment. It's good.
You got that bag of jerky?
Yeah,
I need more jerky.
I got one more piece of jerky.
I'll take it after the show.
Okay. They're gonna send me more. We'll get everyone loaded up. All right. So here's a question for you. And as we're getting closer here towards the end, this is a little bit more local, but I think it's relevant to everybody that watches disc golf sports, including the new player who comes out and sees MVP Open, Maple Hill, #1 course in the world. Go check out Simon Lizotte's YouTube channel. His dad, for the first time, walked onto the course of Maple Hill and was like, wow, like multiple times. Like, this is different. This is really cool. You see it on video coverage. It's like a little mysterious and all that, you know, that goes into that. And he loved it. He thinks it was a great course. Well, that course has a lot of history. Kevin Jones, like is likely, not even arguably, the biggest ace to ever go viral is him slipping on hole 16 and putting in the basket. You have big moments of history coming into hole 18. You have people acing on coverage on other holes. And this is a lot of courses. But Maple Hill, right now, currently ranked #1 in the world, is auctioning off all of their baskets. And I think that's in the range of somewhere between 40 and 50 baskets.
And I'll jump in real quick. They just got brand new baskets from MVP. MVP's new upgraded black hole portals, I believe. And they're going back to the old orange. And now their old baskets, because they got new ones, now they're auctioning off those. So they still have baskets on the course, and not just getting rid of them.
They're closing down. They're auctioning off. This is your last chance to get in on the action.
Yeah, that's really cool. They're doing. I think you can join on Facebook or in person and bid about 30 seconds, and then it gets sold. Well, 30 seconds, and then it like resets if a new bid comes in.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be right. So I think they're actually going to open it up to like Facebook Live is one of the options, or in person. So you can either be there. or Facebook Live and get your bids in. Now, there's fun parts of this conversation. Like I brought up hole 16, for instance, right? And hole 18, like Nico has an ace on it that goes to ESPN coverage. There's a lot of holes that have unique things that have happened for individual players. Kevin Jones, I think he's very interested in getting hole 16's basket.
If I was him, I would pay a lot of money. Which
this is the question.
Yeah.
How much would a basket be worth? Now let's put a few parameters in place. This is straight auction. Kevin has to go through the auction. Steve Dodge is not going to gift it to him. Like, so what would that basket go for? This is just what do you think, Ben?
Kevin
How much?
Jones ace basket. What?
How much is it going to go for in an auction? If Kevin's interested in it and he keeps bidding, and so does the field, if you will, like how high does the basket?
How much
price
did your
go?
Disc Golf Pro Tour cards sell for the set?
Man, yeah, that's silly, but it went for $2,500.
Yeah, so this is going to be, I was about to say 10 times
history.
that, but then you think about it, it's $20,000. I don't know if I would go that high.
Could it? Could it?
My answer
Like,
is
there's a
$7,000.
There's
That's
a
my
chance.
answer.
Oh my goodness.
$7,000. That's
I
it.
think
This is a game. Right now we have to guess.
$7,000.
I think $7,000 is a good guess. I think it's definitely over $5,000. And
Really?
I think
If Kevin's ace, all
Kevin
the other
Jones'
ones
ace.
might not, but
I think that one's going to be worth the most.
Oh my goodness.
We can argue
the
that. I think some people are going to want like hole 8, hole 14,
Yes.
hole 1 or 18.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like
But 16, how much would I, if I had, let's just say, I'm going to throw out a number, $50,000 just sitting there for the fun, rainy day, whatever I want to do with it. My wife doesn't care. Let's go. How much am I going to spend on that basket? Me, there's two things that factor. I would feel bad not letting Kevin Jones get it. So take that away from it. Like, I don't know Kevin Jones and I don't care about him. I think the history of that basket deserves, I don't know. You're really into disc golf, someone's going to pay $10,000 for it.
my gut guess is everything stays in the single digit thousands at most, but I wouldn't be surprised if one hit like 10 to 15 range.
Man,
Which would be really cool to see, because I think that would,
someone in the chat said they would pay $5,000 for it. Kent Chapman, calling him out. He said, "I'll pay $5,000 for it." Like,
Yeah.
that's in the chat right now.
yep.
and okay, I'm looking at the
Wow.
other ones. I see another 10K, 20K, and maybe that's not actually wanting to buy it. But
That's not their
yes.
real auction. Yeah, bring it to
Yeah.
the auction. Let's
Where
see that number.
Ken says he'll pay 5,000. Like I mean, you can
Wow.
even like, I don't know, 5,000. Like I'm not in the place to spend this money anyways, but if you had a chunk of money, 5,000 could just be, you could see it as an investment too, as like not
I'm laughing.
just
Not
like to be a part of it and to event, like with baseball cards, it's the same idea. And I
Yeah.
think disc golf's obviously done very well being a collection sport, almost like baseball cards are, but you're actually playing with these discs.
look at the last chat that just came in. It's a great point.
I don't think it'd be worth $1 million.
No, but the point that's being made is in the future, assuming disc golf continues on the trajectory it is.
Well,
Imagine if you had like an original like home plate after like Babe Ruth hit whatever X home run, like things like that, or the baseball bat.
okay.
Like,
Well, I'll say this is we think
it's a basket. I get
that
it.
basket. It's also at Maple Hill, which is kind of cool. But think about the Beaver State basket. I
Albatross.
mean, that one
Yeah.
was a junky old.
Yeah.
like,
Paul's
basket.
perfect rounds. He has that basket set.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
perfect round. That's a massive dollar amount.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this because after Maple Hill's auctioning him off, Paul got lucky. He just got that. I don't know if he had to pay for it if he had to pay for it, but it was like a backdoor deal if it was.
I think I've heard, but I'm not recollecting, and
If-
that's the truth. I have heard. I don't remember how he got them, but he did.
And I think it would mean a little bit more to Paul to buy that set than it would Kevin Jones to buy that basket. But I still see Kevin Jones being interested. But like, what are the chances like OTB or, I mean, it would look weird maybe if Prodigy bought it because it's not their basket. But
Yeah,
like,
but it's-
OTB. What if OTB bought it? They sponsor Kevin Jones, and Skins was where the basket happened.
Mhm,
Like maybe they
mhm.
want to.
Maybe OTB wants it,
Yeah,
right?
maybe they want it and they'll put it up in there. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. I think they should. And as
Great.
a fan who's not going to buy it, I'd almost rather see someone like that who I know they're going to preserve it well. They're going to make something cool out of it.
But wouldn't it be cool? And okay, yes, I'm hearing everything you're saying too. But wouldn't it be cool, like if I did? I'm a collector. I like collecting things. I don't have a lot of. Well, I have a lot of like my own little collections. But like wouldn't it be cool to like have that basket here in studio? Like, this is the basket I was ace. Like, that is a cool feeling to me, and it would be cool, but I can't drop the money to do it.
Let's play another game. Let's play, if we think that kind of 8 to 10K is what Kevin Jones's ace basket's going to go for. What about like
the disc?
No. What about like red? What's the
where are we
red
talking about?
12 maybe?
At Maple?
Yeah, at red 12, where it's you get
Hole 13's
sorry,
basket?
red 11. You get
It's
that's
the wide open.
Yeah, it's a fun hole for reds, but it's only a reds basket. It's not anything cool from anything the pros
That
have
goes
played.
for like a little more than like retail. Like that.
You think just a little bit
That's
more?
someone's
I'm
ace
thinking
basket,
like
100%.
I'm thinking that basket goes for like 400. That's my guess.
That's
because
below retail.
This all depends on
No. I think those went for 350.
I don't know how the auction's going, if they're kind of doing one after another. I kind of hope they do like a chunk and then another chunk and kind of let it build, so that way the last day is Kevin Jones's basket. And that way, you know, if
Hole
it is
8,
kind of,
yeah.
because I see if it going after and after, like some could go high and some could go low. People don't want to bid on hole 11 because they're like, oh, I'm going to drop $2,000 on this basket, so I'm not going to buy this one for 600. But
right, and that's kind of what
I don't want to get into
too.
that whole game, but I would be surprised if even the lowest basket sold for under $600.
Okay, so you're 600. This is a little game that we're playing
Because
here.
I would
We'll
would much rather buy a Maple if I was planning on buying a full like championship level basket. That usually what retail goes for 450, I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
So the over under
Single,
on 600 is what we're looking at right now, and I'm like, dang it, will one go for 500 or 550? And in my mind, I'm thinking you might be right on the right number, because I said 400, but realistically, yeah, I mean, people are going to want these baskets, and they're going to say, I have 500 to spend. That's kind of what I'm thinking in my head, but is 500 enough to get it?
Let me just real quick. If you had the chance to get 2 brand new, whatever brand championship baskets in your backyard, or even like red hole 11, which one would you rather have for Maple Hill?
Yeah,
I would choose one Maple Hill basket over 2 brand new ones.
I don't know if I'd keep it outside though, because I'm a collector kind of guy.
That's fair too. I'm just saying, like,
then I have to go get another one.
Yeah.
I'd for me personally, I'd say the 2 new baskets, just put up a home course. I own 9 Innovative catchers.
I need 2 more.
I bought some this year, so I already have them, and yeah, I need more. Full 18 to my house, backyard. Everyone's invited.
All right, to wrap up that conversation, because some people are like, we've talked about that long enough. I would say the other just attractive holes specifically would be like hole 8. And there's a few reasons. The 8 holes, the group that actually has gotten some notoriety. It's in a board game. It's made Ulti-World like articles. It's made UDisc articles. It's on the coverage, the 8 holes, and pros either complain or love it. It's the hole 8, the originator of the 8 holes, Zach Benson, if you're listening, I know sometimes he does. Like, I don't think he feels like he has the money to back up right now and drop what that's going to go for. So there's a community of people trying to figure out how they're going to get that basket for him. And I don't know if Steve Dodge is going to be a nice guy and figure out how to get people baskets that they want. But what I did find funny, and I think it was one of our listeners here, Chris Dickerson, if he's in here. I don't remember if he's in here tonight, but sometimes he is. He's like, listen, we all need to be on the same page with who's bidding on that for Zach, though, because if we're all bidding, we're going against each other. We just keep raising the price, and it's just going to keep going up. Like, we'll win it for Zach. And it just keeps going. So one person do that. But anyways, there's a lot of cool things there. That's a cool thing. I've never heard of it in this way at a notable course like this, a disc golf auction for baskets, or what we could call memorabilia going forward, like a brick. If they redo hole 1, and they sell off the bricks, I think that'd be cool. I'd buy a brick.
That's cool. I mean, stadiums do this all the time. Like if Fenway Park was going to get demolished next year, and they're taking down pieces, selling seats. Yeah. I'd buy a seat if it went for like $100. I'd buy a seat from Fenway Park.
Right.
Like, that'd be cool. Yeah. And this is the same idea. Is it's a piece of that property. You can't sell trees. Yeah, I guess they do.
We're going to cut down the Christmas.
You pay $60 to $80 or whatever for the Christmas.
They're a Christmas tree farm.
Oh man,
you can't sell trees. Yes, we can.
Yeah, they can scoop up water and hey, here's
you have
some
a
of the
Christmas
ponds.
tree from like 5 years ago. It's just dry and needles are falling off.
Maple Hill, baby.
Yeah, but I will say this, and I think it'd be really cool if a few had, like, let's say, I keep on throwing Red's hole 11 under the bus. But it would be cool, Steve, if you're listening, to have a couple baskets kind of go to a specific, like one might go to the Paul Macbeth or Saki Bomb.
Oh, this is. Let me give you the information.
Okay, let's hear it.
So he announced one of them, and it's the Wysocki Foundation.
Yep.
Okay. I think he said tomorrow. So this is Monday of the recording. So maybe Tuesday. I think that's accurate. He's going to announce another one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Paul Macbeth. Maybe it's Uplay. I don't know. But he said 5% of the sales. Now, quickly in my head, this is what I did. I said, let's just say it was 50 baskets. And I literally just did it times retail, which was like $350. And I said, we're talking about $18,000, right? So if
5% is $18,000.
No, I'm saying that'd be a total if the auction was purely retail.
Yeah.
Yes. And we say, here's 5%. That's about $1,000. That's me. I'm not Statmando. That's my rough math. About $1,000. Someone's going to say it's 900. I know. I rounded up. But that's with you guys saying that some are going to go for thousands. So realistically, someone gets a nice donation. And that's a cool thing that Steve Dodge is doing. So
yeah.
Oh, look, check out Hannah's comment. She said, Paul and I met on hole 16, so I'm trying to get that one.
Oh, dang. Did she hear?
Well, she
Hannah,
said
comment
pale.
yes or no. Did you hear our conversation about how much that
corrected it.
basket would go for? I'm interested in your opinion. Text me later.
Wait.
I'll go.
Okay, that's
what
the
I'll
Kevin
do?
Jones ace hole. It's just clicking now.
I will sneak.
there's-
I'm gonna sneak into the barn, Hannah. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, let's
we'll
go
make a
tonight.
movie. Yeah, we'll have night vision.
And
No, we are not on record saying that. If someone steals it was not Ben.
Not
and Matt.
us. It was not us.
But when Steve was here a couple weeks back, he mentioned how many different people have gotten like impromptu married or proposed.
Yes.
Like there's gonna be a lot of people who are Paul and Hannah met on 16. Maybe some people got engaged.
Can
on
we
hole
give them like
7.
16? Can we just like say like 16 blue is the same as 16 gold? Like,
but yeah, that's interesting.
or no,
Is-
that's the same. Sorry,
is
16
for,
red.
Is for Hannah and Paul. Does 16 gold need to be the
Oh,
basket
no.
that they want?
Oh
'Cause
no,
that would be
though.
the Kevin Jones one.
If they go head to head against each other, who wins?
But like, would Paul and Hannah, would they be okay going for 16 diamonds, which I think is a much cooler hole? That fairway to get to blues. and
Yeah, it's a
diamonds.
cooler hole, but if it's
Cooler, but
literally
it's
that
not as
basket
iconic.
location where you're like Hannah bends in to get the disc
But
out of the
if they
basket and
met-
she looks up and the angels sing from heaven and the sunlight breaks through the cloud, she's like, Paul Macbeth. Like, did that happen, or was it just like generally like hole 16?
Yeah,
that's
if
your
they're
point.
playing, they I mean,
Oh, they
might
met
have
on the
been playing
tee pad.
different- Yeah, if they met on the tee pad,
Yeah,
then-
she'll take a brick.
then 16 reds is sitting right in front of you. That's the basket you see. And then blue and diamonds is kind of hidden back. And then
Yeah,
golds is the farthest one away. So
There's 15 on 16
Or-
tee pad. There's 15 red, 15 gold,
yeah,
and 15 blue, all near there.
yeah, all
So
right
she has
behind you.
3
Those are all
chances.
closer. So the numbers was I get there won't the number, but
So I will say that was a fun conversation for us. If you thought it was generally entertaining, or you thought, the concept of disc golf auction for memorabilia is cool, it'd be neat if there was a disc golf auction where players did put up things like the James Conrad putter, and if Kevin Jones disc and the basket 16, like if there was an auction that went up for all this memorabilia, or the museum, like the Hall of Fame type deal, that Georgia has, but like maybe a museum, like that would be really neat. So, okay, I'm looking at the chat. Lots of cool things going on there. Thanks for joining, Hannah. I saw your snowboarding video. That was pretty cool. It made me feel like I wanted to go back and do it because I haven't done it since I was 13. Oh, no, that might be a lie, but in my teenage years. So that'd be very cool to go back. Good job, Hannah. All right, in rounding out the whole conversation, it says it's just about 9. Any picks for Texas states? Anybody? Just this is a quick, not a conversation as much as it is Ben. You're rolling the dice. Who do you think is going to take it down?
Who's going to take it down? Dickerson back to back. You heard it here first.
Really?
Yes, 100%. And come back to me in a week.
Okay.
There we go.
I'll say this real quick: is the layout is changing a good amount from last year. Last year was heavily wooded. This year they're adding in a lot more kind of. From what I saw, it looked more like park style, but like community fields, almost like the baseball hole at Ledgestone, or even the kind of the Winthrop, kind of playing around the other sports fields. So it seems like there'll be a lot more open shots. It's kind of hard to pick against Dickerson and Paul Macbeth with how good they're looking, but I'm going to go Ricky Wysocki. You said he's not getting a win Or what if he doesn't get a win?
Okay, thank
Sorry,
you. Thank
not putting
you.
words in your mouth. man.
Everyone hates me enough as is. If I'm calling out Ricky now. No.
I think
Ricky and I are bros, man. I'll text him right now.
I think he takes it down this week. That's my
Okay.
pick.
I think that's a great pick. Are we rooting? No, let me not say are we rooting against Paul. Is Paul, you're just saying Paul, I'm not asking for first, second, third, never mind. Just keep it with Ricky. Is Eagle going to attend? Is he yet?
I think he's
coming
missing
back?
all of
Yeah,
Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Okay.
of Texas.
So I'm not going with Calvin.
He could win.
That's a whole nother topic for
knows?
another day. Again, like I feel like that he's an interesting character, and I don't mean Muppets.
He's a Muppet.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
when I say that, I've said this before, and I will go on record as saying this always. He's the best player to not win like Pro Tours. Now, I know Ledgestone happened, and I will have that as an asterisk for a long time because we don't know how that would have played out.
Ledgestone's not his only Pro Tour win though.
Since he started getting really good, what was his other one?
He won Vintage last year, which was a Silver Series.
Silver Series,
but-
and I don't count that.
But was okay. Well, let me pull him up.
Okay, no,
Stab
don't
end
do it.
him.
Bring it just again another time. He has one. You're right, but my point is the frequency with how good he is. See, you guys are hearing me say some excellent things about him. His putting can be fire, like casual. His mental game seems to be like top notch, and he can throw extremely far. Like he should be, in my opinion, he should be winning as much, if not more, than like Ricky and Paul. He's so good, and Chris.
I think it's just unrealistic expectations that have
now it
been
is,
given
yeah.
by Paul Macbeth, by Ricky Bisaki, and Eagle McMahon. Those three are their
All
own
right.
tier, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think Calvin Heimberg's right with Chris Dickerson, right with, Kyle Klein last year. People are arguing Gannon Burr, Drew Gibson, those guys who all could win any possible event every single week. Chris Dickerson might be pushing his way up to be making a top 4 with those guys. And I think Heimberg's, I would not question him being top 5 with Dickerson
Okay.
and those.
So
other
my
three.
pick. I'm not impressed with Kyle Klein so far this year. That's not me knocking him. That's just saying I'm not impressed so far. Is Matty O signed up for this, Ben? How did you not pick Matty O?
I don't know
If he's signed
signed
up, if he is, I wish there was a way. I should have pulled this up.
I just think Dickerson's just
Texas State.
great.
I just need to know because that would be my pick if it is. Texas State's PDGA. I'm just Googling this because Ben's late. No. Let's see here. PDGA.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to say
He is signed up.
for the season for Silver Series and higher. I think there's going to be a new winner for the season,
Okay.
which could be like Paige Parrish. She hasn't won this year. Could be Kristen Tatar.
Oh, I like that. So now
Although
we're betting the field or
she
like
won
Paige.
Memorial, but
Okay.
I'm not counting that. But like
Okay.
Kristen Tatar's been right there at every single event.
Okay.
You can't count her out.
Adam Hammis hasn't impressed me yet this year, and he's a great player. So when I say these takes that I'm taking, I'm just being transparent with how I feel.
And I think what you're saying is exactly what I was kind of getting earlier. It's all about momentum. Any of these guys
Mhm.
can win.
Silver Series is
But
helpful.
we haven't seen the momentum from a lot of these really good
Mhm.
players, like you mentioned, Adam Hambus. He just needs to get rolling, and then it'll start coming.
Okay, so my pick is Matteo, assuming he actually plays. He's signed up for it, but so is Simon. But if Matteo plays, like that's my pick. That guy is so cool at that course. I feel like even with his new disc, that's another guy with new discs.
Yeah. Oh,
if
that's
he
what I
gets the
said
win,
earlier.
so if he gets the win, how many? This would be a stat from Statmando, and you'd have to say thanks credit to Matt Graham of the Nick and Matt. No, I'm kidding. If it's like the most wins ever by players with new like it's getting deep.
I think a few people have mentioned that to us,
Oh,
not to bring it down.
Dang it!
But
All right, I'm not
Yeah,
original.
sorry.
Okay, and then FPO.
still a cool thought.
Yeah, it is. Valerie Mandahano has beaten Kristen Tatar in back-to-back events. That's pretty interesting because going into this year, there's a lot of people arguing that Kristen Tatar is the number 1 player in the world coming out of last season. Valerie is stepping up. I'm going to, and I think Haley's going to be there. I think she said she was going to be there. Haley's decent on this course. There's a lot of good woods players. We're going to see Holly Finley play a little higher than she normally does. We're going to see Sarah Hokum possibly do the same thing, but I'm picking Valerie. Any other picks from you guys for FPO?
I'm going to go Tatar. I said there's going to be a new winner for this year.
Okay.
And I think she's the best bet.
She's so consistent.
Yep.
So consistent. It's amazing. What do you got, Ben?
Paige Pierce, enough said.
Enough said. Paige Pierce of the field. I am going. Oh my goodness. I'm going the field because I already said I'm going with Valerie. I'm interested to see Paige turn the corner. This happened last year a little bit. Different feeling, but it happened last year. So I'm just going to read this real quick. Hannah's telling stories in our chat. She's story time with Hannah. She said she met Paul in hole 16 on the tee pad. This is where we're gathering now as the chat grows. She said Paige introduced her to Paul, and because she told a funny joke in the parking lot, and then there was a backup. So I don't know how that works, but
The
more
joke
or less.
was, you can't put a price on swagger, Paige.
Well, okay.
You can't put a price on swagger, Paige.
Hannah Macbeth saw a huge trailer that was
Right.
parked on site. She didn't know if it was Paul's, or didn't know it was Paul's because of who he is. And Paige asked Paige why she didn't travel in one. She said money. And I said, being Hannah, you can't put a price on swagger, Paige.
And she thought that was hilarious and later made me repeat the joke to Paul, and the rest is history. Interestingly enough, now we're getting deeper into this story. Like, I knew Hannah before disc golf. I knew Nick before disc golf. And it was a very weird, like, you can't put yourself in my position and you can't put yourself in Hannah's position, but it was very weird for me. I'm not going to lie, Hannah, I don't know if I've ever told you this, to be like, I'm like all into disc golf. And then like my friend Hannah, who's not at all, like doesn't even know disc golf besides like maybe I've told her about it once. She's like hanging out with Paul Macbeth. And I'm like, how? And Paige Pierce. And I'm like, how does this happen? Like, I'm into the sport. Like, I'm at the tournaments and you show up and you're hanging out with these players. Like, very cool move, Hannah. Very cool move. You can't put a price on swagger. And I don't know. Anyway, so.
Hannah's funny with those kind of jokes. I think she needs more credit for. I'm trying to think of the type of jokes those are.
They're almost dad jokes, almost, but it's like her version. It's better.
Like situational kind of like, I don't know.
Hannah,
It's like quips.
I can't describe it.
It's just
Hannah,
clever
they're waiting.
quips.
They're waiting for you.
Just clever honor feet thinking or whatever that's called.
Yeah, that's my kind of humor. I like it. I'm a fan.
All right. Call in anytime, Hannah. We'll let you in on the party line. All right. That's the show. We actually went a little long. I hope you guys appreciated that. As always, go check out and appreciate our sponsors of the show. They have been providing amazing feedback to us, so don't let up because we need that to continue. It helps with the success of our show. I'm still reading the chat because Hannah's still holding it down. All right. I'm not going to pass it off to Ben. Actually, I usually do. I think he's all primed. What's the closeout today, Ben?
Closeout today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Texas States is this weekend. Follow FPO. Start paying attention to them. And tell someone that you admire them. Okay.
She said, thanks, Ben, for that. But she goes, that's what happens when you follow FPO. She's like trying to promote FPO. That's her thing, right? The lesson here is follow the FPO rounds, befriend them, and they will introduce you to Paul Macbeth. There you go, everybody. Go follow FPO. Thanks, Ben, for that. You're awesome. Evan, you're awesome. Until next week. Peace out, everybody.
The Nick and Matt Show, a disc golf podcast designed for you, the disc golfer. Find the Nick and Matt Show on your favorite podcast platforms or join the conversation live on YouTube.